بحمدي سبحان الله العظيم سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم سبحان الله وبحمده
Every student can learn, just not on the same day or the same way. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Education's purpose is to replace an empty mind with an opened one.
Join Sumaya Khan every Tuesdays between 7 and 8 p.m. for an educational evening exclusive to Radio Al Ansar.
Your education is a dress rehearsal for a life that is yours to lead. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to School Matters. Yes, with me, Sumaya Khan, your producer and presenter. Alhamdulillah, we all are well, healthy, safe, and summer seems to be around the corner. I wouldn't say around the corner. I think it's here. Yesterday and today has been scorching hot. Well, make shukr and be grateful for all we have and not disastrous weather. Well, this is the last school term. Our grade 12 learners are still busy. Past the halfway mark, I would say, with their final exams. And our grade 1, or you could say officially from maybe grade 3 onwards, with assessments and exams, everyone is so busy. Stress levels are quite high, not only for the educator, but also the parent and the learner. Well, this is the last stroke, so hope all of you do quite well. Our topic this evening is a topic which you have requested. You have requested this topic because you wanted it and you just never get enough. We felt we never do justice. So we got our brother Junaid Bayat, our motivational speaker, life coach, someone who have started accelerated learning, and he is the expert, the person to have to motivate you, to give you advice and tips when you are writing an exam. So this evening we are going to link up, and he is going to tell us how to ace your exams. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Sumaya and the listeners. Very happy to always be back.
Alhamdulillah. I'm just thinking while I'm doing my intro, where were you when I was in school?
You know how many parents tell me that? I wish you were my teacher in school.
It's like,
Alhamdulillah.
It's amazing when you're like older, you realize, gosh, I should have done things differently. I would say work smart, not hard.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we want to do. We want to actually study smart, learn smart, do everything in a smarter, faster, easier way.
Yeah. Well, the platform is yours. Ace your exam questions.
Absolutely, yeah. So, listeners, grab your pens, papers, and whatever it is you can use, whether you're using a tablet, phone, or device, to take notes. Today, we're going to talk about exams, tackling exams, and how to ace that exams. And even if you are a high-flying student or you're still right now struggling, we've got something for all of you. So, the question, the most, biggest question most parents ask at this stage where the exams already started, is it not too late? No, it's not. Absolutely not. So the first thing you need to do in your exams, even if it's before, right? Even if you didn't, if you already started beforehand, it's always a must to have a revision plan. But now the revision plan has to slightly be adjusted because understand you're already in the middle of the exams. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to show you all how you can go about creating an effective revision plan to cover a subject in a maximum of 2 days. You can even do it in 1 day if you actually give out enough time. And for this exercise in doing this revision plan, I'm actually going to be using one of the schools that I did an exam prep workshop. I'm going to use the grade 7 natural science scope. So one of the things you all have to have for the revision plan is you have to have a scope. Okay. And if you didn't get a scope from your school or from the teacher on which subjects to cover, topics to cover in the subjects, then you need to look at the term 4 and look at all the titles, all the topics under term 4. And you'll find that quite easily in your textbooks or even in your study guides. So how do we go about creating a revision plan? Very simple. All we got to do first is we got to have 3 study sessions in a day, right? 3 study sessions in a day. Now, this is a normal day that you are writing exams. Your 3 study sessions is broken up into, each session is 90 minutes, right? So one session is 90 minutes, and I challenge all of you to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, because the sun is already up by then. Fajr is quite early now, 4:15. So wake up and do your first study session early in the morning, right? You'll actually be quite free by the afternoon. So if you do your first study session, that's 90 minutes early in the morning, you got 90 minutes. Let's just say you start at 5:30 and you finish at 7. Then your second study session should be maybe from 4 p.m. to like 5:30. And then you've got a last session, which you can say, right, I can do from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Now you have 3 90-minute study sessions. And the general rule, listeners, is we don't ever study more than 2 subjects a day. Ideally, it should always be 1 subject. If you get bored, then you can do 2 subjects. But right now you're in the middle of the exam, so you most probably might have to do 1 subject, or you can even do 2 subjects. If you stick to 1 subject, like what we advise, you'll be able to finish the entire subject in 1 day. So now that we know our set times, you need to know what your set times are for the days that you are going to school. On a non-school day, like the weekend or the days that you are not writing any tests and exams and you're still going to school, on that day you need to have 5 study sessions. Remember, you're not going to school, so you'll be at home the whole day. Now you start, like for example, your first session at 8 a.m. to 9:30, then you can have a break, and then you do 10:30 to 12 o'clock, and then you can have a break again, and you come back at 2 p.m. Like that, you need to have 5 study sessions. So the third one will be 2 p.m. to 3:30, then you can go 5 to 6:30, and maybe the last one from 7 to 8. So now you have your 5 study sessions on the weekend. Now, what do we do in the study session? We need to now start doing some revision. And first, I'm going to tell you how to actually tackle the topics, so you know exactly how much of time you need for each of the topics. And then I want to talk about the revision process. What exactly should you be doing when you do revision? And no, it doesn't mean I must just read my notes, read it once or twice, and then maybe write some notes out and say, yeah, I finished studying. No, you have not. Okay, that's not revision. That's not studying. There's a whole lot of things that we need to do. Okay, so like I said, the revision plans, the scopes have been given to you. Now I'm going to use a grade 7 natural science scope, and we're going to use that. So in your scope, in your revision plan, you should have 6 columns on one page, right? The first column says the topic. It just says topic. The second column is rating. So I'm going to rate that topic. The third column is time required. How much of time do I need for that topic? The fourth column is time schedule. When exactly am I doing it? The fifth column is for video. And the last column, the sixth column, is for past year papers. So you put down your topics, list down, like I have 10 topics here for natural science. Number 1 was biodiversity. Number 2, biosphere. Number 3, human production. Number 4, properties of materials. Number 5 is acid bases and neutrals. Number 7, periodic table. 8, sources of energy. So maybe you probably have only about 8. Okay, this one had a little bit of term 3 work, so that's why we have so many. But nevertheless, I'm just going to use 3 or 4 to give you an example of how this is done so that I can actually cover everything else. Okay, so you take the first topic, biodiversity, right? Now you put down that topic on your revision plan. It's under topic number 1, biodiversity. Now I need to rate it. Our rating is always, we're rating it out of 3 things, 0, 1, or 2. 0 means I know nothing, nada. I don't know anything on this topic. 1 means I know a little bit, I know something, maybe it's 50-50, I know, I know a little bit here. And 2 means I know it very well. I can write the test or the exam, and I can even teach this to somebody, and I can do it right now. So that means I know it very well. So if we take the first topic, which is biodiversity, right? How would you rate yourself out on a scale of 0, 1, or 2? Now, a lot of students, the general I hear when it comes to the topic of biodiversity for grade 7s, we normally hear things like, okay, I need like 20 minutes for this topic. So now you're going to put down there, first you're going to rate it, right? And you're going to say, right, this is a 1. Let's just say it's a 1. I know a little bit from biodiversity. I just need to now spend 20 more minutes to make it into a 2 so that I'm ready to take the test or an exam. And you do that now for the second topic, which is biosphere. And under biosphere, let's just say most students will take, again, say 25 minutes. Now you need 25 minutes and you've got biosphere because, again, I'm just taking it as all the ratings are either 0 or 1, right? The third topic was human production, human reproduction. And here you can say, okay, I don't know anything. It's a 0. Maybe I need 45 minutes. And you put down your 45 minutes. Now I'm just going to use these 3 topics and then we move on, right? So now what do we do is, now we look at, okay, when specifically am I going to do topic number 1, which is biodiversity, and I only need 20 minutes. So you look at your first study session for that subject. Now you know your first block of that 30 minutes, that first study session of 3 blocks of 90 minutes is early in the morning. So when you wake up early in the morning, at 5 o'clock, you know the first thing I need to tackle is that topic of biodiversity from 5 o'clock to, or even 5:30 to 10 to 6, and I must be finished with that topic. Now, I know how much of time I need for it. You see, the mistake here is, why are we giving it time? Most students actually say, okay, I'm writing natural science. I've got all these topics. I'm going to study for 3 hours now, and then I'm going to have a break, and then I'm going to do another 2 hours. But they're not set on what they're going to cover, what topics. They just want to read everything. So they do a lot of reading. Reading and rereading is the lowest form of actually learning, right? We need to be active learners, and we need to deep process information. So now we've given 20 minutes for the first topic, 25 minutes for the second topic, and 45 minutes for the third topic. Now you know, right, 5:30 to 10 to 6 is that first topic. And then after that, I have a 10-minute break at 6 o'clock. From 6 o'clock to 25 past 6 is my second topic. And then I can say from 25 past 6 right till 7 o'clock, I'm going to do the third topic of human reproduction. So basically, it's about you listing out all the topics on the scope, rating it out 0, 1, or 2, and then giving it an exact amount of time that is needed. That's why we call it time required for that topic to be turned into a 2 so that I know this topic, I know it in and out, and I can teach it to somebody, or I can even take an exam. That's what we do with the revision plan. Okay, now what we also got to do is, now we need to know, how do I do revision? So what's the revision process? So there are 5 key things that must be done in revision. Number 1 is extraction. I need to extract. Now, what do I need to extract? A lot of people don't know this. Even teachers get quite surprised when I tell them this. In every single sentence, whether the sentence is written in a textbook study guide or the sentence is spoken by a teacher. Remember, you're getting all your sources of knowledge either by a teacher, a tutor, or a book, or even if you're watching a video, all of it is in words in where somebody is speaking. Now, like I'm saying, in every single sentence, 70 to 80% of the words are totally useless. They give us 0% understanding. We only need that 10 to 20%, which is what we call keywords, key points, and key concepts. So the first step in your revision process is to extract the keywords, key points, and key words. Sometimes your textbook or study guide may have those keywords, key points, and those key concepts already out there for you. Now, what do we do with this? First thing that we got to do is, we now, after we extract the important stuff, the important words, now we need to visualize it. So let me explain to you the science behind what we are doing here. So let's just say, for example, that topic that I spoke about, biodiversity, I knew nothing in this. I have no idea. So you think of your brain as, it's got this little, you can call it a dish or a bowl. And now it needs to learn everything. It's got to put it in this dish. It's got to put everything about biodiversity in this big bowl or this big dish. Now, what we call this, the scientific term is you're creating a knowledge base in the brain. This is like a little pot or something where you're going to put all this information in. So now we're starting off with the keywords, right? So we're building a knowledge base. We're now taking all the data, all the dates, the names, the variables, you're taking all of that data and information, and the object of taking all of this data and information is to turn it into knowledge. That's what revision is all about, is taking the information that has been taught to me, that has been given to me. I now need to turn it into knowledge so that I understand it and I know it well. So first step is whatever we extracted, all those keywords, key points, key ideas, we need to visualize it. We need to create a mental picture and image in your mind's eye of exactly what it is that you extracted, right? So now, first thing I'm doing to build that knowledge base of mine, I'm visualizing. We extracted it, we got those words, now I need to visualize it. Now, one of the things of visualization, a lot of people don't know this, is when you have to visualize, you are forcing the brain to think about what you are learning, which leads to an increase of memory by 80% just by you creating a mental picture of what it is, that keyword, that key ideas, whatever it was that you extracted, you have to visualize it. Now you're forcing the brain to create that picture. So we're going to remember. And you guys probably heard the saying, a picture says 1,000 words, So now that we visualize it, whilst we're visualizing it, we now also need to verbalize it. Now we also need to say it out, what it means to us. Not what's in the textbook, not what your teacher told you or what's in the text. Explain it in your own words and do it loudly. A lot of people say, "Oh no, man, I'm grade 9. I'm going to do it with my eyes." No, you want to do this loudly. It's just like when you're doing lives. We read loudly. Why we emphasize read loudly? You actually now, if you tilt your ears forward, it's like somebody telling you something. So you want to verbalize this so that you can hear yourself, and it must be done in your own voice, and it has to be done loudly. Now, the third step is I also need to engage my body. So I need to make a map. Can be a mind map, a concept map, or it could just be me taking notes, right? So the fourth step, extraction, number 1, number 2, visualization, number 3, verbalization. Now the fourth step is summarization. I need to create a map of all of these key points, keywords, and key ideas. Now maps give us direction. So what we want is basically to give direction to the brain on how we're going to use it, where it connects up. So it's going to create connections, okay? So now that we write it down, or we make a little mind map or a concept map or a spider map, we've captured that information. And the last part in revision is I now need to test myself. I need to assess to see how well do I know what I've just visualized and explained and written down. I need to know how well do I know it. And the best way is to practice examples, right? You do practice examples, class examples, textbook examples, study guide examples, and you can even do past papers. Or you can even take your phone, your device, and you can use AI. You can take a picture of what you've just learned, and whichever model you are using, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama, whichever one you're using, you take a picture of that notes on biodiversity, and you tell it, create 10 multiple choice questions for me. You can tell it, create 10 level 1 multiple choice questions for me, and it'll do that for you. Then you do level 2 questions. You see now it's getting a little harder, So we can create those questions, or to do the revision, to test ourselves, or we can just do a past year paper. Now remember, those of you that are doing past year papers, especially the grade 10, 11, and 12s, please understand that when you do a past year paper, it's got to be as though you're actually writing that test or that exam. A lot of students make this mistake. When they're doing a past year paper, they got the textbook there in front, the memo is this side, they got some notes there, and now you want to. No, that's passive learning, man. We got to be active in our learning, so it's got to be as though you are actually in the test or the exam, right? So basically, make sure when you practicing the examples and doing past year papers, do it as though you are actually, in the exam. Another technique that's very good for last minute studying is chunking. Chunking is about grouping information. It's about taking 50 things and making it into 5, or it's about taking 10 things and making it into 2. A simple example would be, it's an example that I use all the time. So those that have attended my workshops, you'll know I use this example a lot. If I told all of you on Sunday, I went to Amsloti Beach with my sister. Walking along the seashore, I saw ducks, geese, doves, and seagulls. Now, when we chunk, we take all of that information and we actually turn it into one word. So if I were to repeat and say, if I told you on Sunday, I went to Amsloti Beach with my sister. Walking along the seashore, I saw ducks, geese, doves, and seagulls. And if I were to ask anybody, what is one word to describe everything that I just told you or that you just read? Now, different people will have different answers. There's no right or wrong here. Your brain, according to your brain's last frame of reference, you will take a word based on that. So somebody might say sister, somebody might say Sunday, somebody might say beach, somebody might say animals. That's one word. Now you take that one word, and you learn that one word, you visualize it, and you say it out. Now, when you want the details, like, okay, all of you write a word that describes, what's one word to describe, on Sunday, I went to Amsloti Beach with my sister. Walking along the seashore, I saw ducks, geese, doves, and seagulls. What is your one word? Write it down. Now, when you're learning for the exam, you're going to learn that one word. You learn that one word. Now, when I need the details of everything that was said, now I'm going to use the 6 W's. These are your question words. Who, what, why, where, when, which.
Brother,
are we going for that?
Yeah, you know it. So we'll do the 6 W's when we come back.
You're listening to School Matters with Sumaya Khan.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban, 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
At this time of trial and worry, the blessings of charity are the ideal means to avoid calamity and despair. The Al Imdad Foundation gives you the opportunity to sponsor a share in a borehole in South Africa for just 1,000 Rand and provide what the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, called the best form of charity. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
This dua for istikhara is brought to you by Continental Butcher Baker Deli. Quality, freshness and value, our promise to you since 1992.
اللهم إني أستخيرك بعلمك وأستقدرك بقدرتك وأسألك من فضلك العظيم فإنك تقدر ولا أقدر وتعلم ولا أعلم وأنت علام الغيوب اللهم إن كنت تعلم أن هذا الأمر خير لي في ديني ومعاشي وعاقبة أمري فاقدره لي ويسره لي ثم بارك لي فيه وإن كنت تعلم أن هذا الأمر شر لي في ديني ومعاشي وعاقبة أمري فاصرفه عني واصرفني عنه واقدر لي الخير حيث كان ثم أرضني به.
If you're looking for a delicious selection of freshly made baked goods, decadent deli treats, and succulent meats, there's no need to chop around anymore. Continental Butcher Baker Deli offers an award-winning service, presenting exceptional quality at competitive prices. Superb choice-grade lamb, beef, and chicken, mouth-watering homemade processed meats and gourmet marinades, and scrumptious baked goodies. Quality, freshness, and a money-back guarantee. Visit Continental in Argyle Road.
Continental Sausage Circus, now featuring 80 different types of sausages. Hurry before there's not a sausage.
A reminder that in the atrium overport, you will find Chippewa Spur, our halal steak sizzle, our beef ribs are delicious, and our burgers are legendary. The combos are perfect for big appetites. We have plant-based options too, and mouth-watering desserts. Pop in anytime for all your favorite Spur food. We are open from 8 in the morning to 9 p.m. Chippewa Spur at the atrium. People with a taste for life.
Wonder Dates, your one-stop shop for all your dates, nuts, dried fruit, spices, biltong, biscuits, sweets, chocolates, Islamic lifestyle goodies, and so much more. Wonder Dates is known to import unique and unusual products from around the world. So, if you're looking for something nutty, nibbly, chewy, munchy, sweet, sour, or savory, make a date with Wonder Dates. Visit us at 9 Peter Road, Springfield, Durban, or call on us on 031 577 7722 or shop online at www.wonderdates.online. Wonder Dates, bringing the freshness of the farm into your home.
The Al-Ansar Foundation, Da'wah, Tarbiyah, and Education, establishing the foundations of Islamic civilization in South Africa.
Igama lami uSizwe Sibonga Kaluthuli, nobhala weSouth Coast Fundazweni KwaZulu-Natal. Ngifisa ukufisela bonke abafundi abahleli bebhala iphepha lamatikuletsheni okuhle konke. Nokuqinisekisa ekuthenini konke abakufundile kuyabenza bakwazi ukuphophela bephambili empilweni. Lesikhathi enikuso sikukhumbuza yona yonke iminyaka udonsa kanzima. Kubalulekile ukuthi usebenzise leli thuba lezivivinyo zikamatikuletsheni njengesikhathi lapho oqinisekisa ekuthenini impilo yakho yakwazi ukuyihlenga ekuyeni phambili. Ofundile ufundile, ongafundile akafundile. Sifisela bonke abahlalayo bebhale ivivinyo zamatikuletsheni okuhle. Sikhulekeni, sithembe enkosini. All the best to the matriculants of 2024.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. 2024, matric student, all the best for your future. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you all whatever you guys deserve the best. And inshallah, Laziz, whatever your parents deserve for you guys. All the best. This is Honey from Copper Chimney. Again, just do the best. Inshallah, future is ahead for you all.
I am Imtiaz Saib, the Executive Head of Orient Islamic School. I want to take this opportunity of wishing all matriculants everything of the best in the forthcoming examination. I'm confident that each one of you are deep sea divers and not shallow water swimmers, to sow success to one and all.
To all the matriculants on listening to us on Radio Al-Assad, greetings. This is your greatest moment in your life. Make this time count. You've studied hard during the course of the year, and your matriculation examination is the highest point of your schooling career. Just be calm, be cool, be collective. We, the religious community, are bearing you up in prayer. Go and do your best. We wish you well during your matriculation examination 2024. This is your community friend, Reverend Cyril Pillay, the chairman of the Chatsworth Spiritual Crime Prevention Board.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to School Matters. Those were motivations from everyone from all over. Again, I wish we had that. Well, Junaid, am I right?
No, definitely. We had all of those kind of things, boosting us and encouraging us and motivating us.
And we wrote such difficult papers. It was, you passed, you failed, and that was it. And the whole world knew.
Higher grade, standard grade.
Yeah,
HOD,
exactly.
House of Delegates.
Well, let's do the 6 W's you mentioned.
Yes, in chunking, we use the 6 W's to reduce the volume. So, like I said, you gave it one word, describing, to create a chunk, basically chunk information, we ask ourselves, what is one word to describe everything? And you wrote down that one word for what I told you. On Sunday, I went to Absoti Beach with my sister, walking along the seashore. I saw ducks, geese, doves, and seagulls. And we all chose our one word. Now you learn that one word, you visualize it, and you know it. Now when you go into the exam, now I need all the details. So all you do is you use the 6 W's. And now if I ask you, what did you do on Sunday? You'll tell me, I went to the beach. Which beach did you go? Oh, Amsloti Beach. Who did you go with? Why did you go? What did you do? What did you see? Now, when you use the 6 W's, it automatically starts giving you all the little details that you need for, to remember that information. So, like, for example, you heard, I saw ducks, geese, doves, and seagulls. What's one word to describe all of that? Somebody might say birds. Somebody else might say animals. See, so what we need to learn is we need to learn the art of chunking. It's a very, very big tool in studying, especially when you have lots of information. Another example of this would be if I told you on the main road, there are cars, vans, buses, trucks, motorcycles, taxis. What is one word to describe all of that? Somebody would say vehicle. Somebody else might say transport, So, and you just remember it by that. And then when you need the details, you use the 6 W's to now actually elaborate and break it down. Okay, so that's a little bit about chunking. We have very little time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip and go into the exam questions, right? There's about 10 different exam questions that every exam from grade 4 right to grade 12 will cover. But for now, I'm just going to do about 6 or 7, actually as many as I can cover in the time that we have. So what are the different types of exam questions? Well, the first and most common exam question are basically your your multiple choice question. Now, understand, listeners, that multiple choice question, we call it MCQs for short form, is going to be the most common exam questions that you're going to use way after school. Even when you get to university, even when you qualify, you're a professional in the corporate world, you're going to upgrade, and it'll always be most of the time multiple choice questions. So you got to get used to multiple choice questions. The best strategy for multiple choice questions is, number 1, using the one hand method to block out all the answers with that hand. So you read the question and you answer it straight from your knowledge. How well do I know it? Now you know the answer. Now you remove your hand and look for it. Oh, okay, there's it there. It's C. And now you write down C. That's number 1. Number 2, you can use the process of elimination. Okay, so process of elimination is to mark out all the ones that are wrong first, especially this if you don't know the answer. So you'll find that very often 2 of the answers are extremely out and wrong. So you know they're completely out. And the remaining 2 will be either very close to one another or slightly opposite of one another, but they're going to be very, very close. And the answer is going to be one of those 2. A third option is to circle the keywords right in the question, and then just draw out some legs or from those circles of those keywords, and then you just write down whatever comes to mind about that word, the keyword, and you'll see that somehow or the other, somewhere along the line, you'll actually get an answer, and it'll probably be related to that keyword. And the last way, or the last thing that you can use for multiple choice question is to look in other questions for the answers, and most often you will find them there. The second type of questions are your short answer questions. Now, I was going to cover the different levels of questions and how much of marks, but let's cover now how much of marks do I, in time-wise, how much of marks or time do I allocate for marks? The general rule in any exam is 1 minute, 1 mark. So if your question, let's say it's a short answer question, and it's got 2 marks, that means I can spend 2 minutes on that question, okay? Now, a lot of students don't know this as well, and they will spend sometimes on questions that have very low marking. They'll spend a lot of time in it. Now you're losing time for the other questions that have higher markings, right, where there's higher marks. So remember, 1 minute, 1 mark. I don't get the answer, I move on to the next one. Leave it blank, and I can come back to it later. So when it comes to these short answer questions, these questions require you to give very direct answers, right? And generally, I would tell you, you know what, it's a few words, at most, maybe a sentence. Short answer questions, right? Now, how do you study for this? Well, you can use chunking as one way. The other very important way to study for short answer questions is to practice summarizing. So the more you are able to summarize and identify keywords, because when you're summarizing, you're going to put key points and keywords, that will help you to be able to answer short answer questions. And another for level 3 and level 4 questions of short answer questions, you want to be able to give ideas very clearly, in a few words. And another best way is to practice past year papers, which have lots of short answer questions. And if you don't have past year papers, remember, you can use AI to tell it, right, generate 10 short answer questions for me, which are level 1. And it'll give you that. Then you can go on to level 2, level 3, level 4, and it gets harder and harder. Now, to tackle a short answer question, you first have to identify in the question what are the key words, the key points in the exam, in the question, right? In that question, what are the key points? What are the key information that's needed? And like I said earlier on, you want to give a direct answer. Avoid, giving too much of unnecessary details, because again, 1 minute, 1 mark, okay? So you want to use very direct, clear, concise language. That's the right word to use. Concise language, okay? Because that will make it very easy to understand for the marker. Another very important thing, guys, exams, big tip. The writing that you have, if you have an untidy answer sheet, it has been proven by research that identical answers from an untidy answer sheet compared to an answer sheet that was very neatly written will score higher, even though the answers are identical. That's some food for thought. So you want to write very neatly, because remember, when you write untidily, you're making it difficult for the examiner. Now they need to, kind of like turn their head, figure out what you wrote there. So you're making it hard for them, you're wasting their time. So write neatly, make sure you're writing neatly. The second type of question is basically, a third type of question is your matching. So we get this a lot, right? And here is basically they're going to give you 2 tables or 2 sides or 2 lists, and you basically need to label or match them, right? Now, matching is quite easy, where it's basically, right, they'll have one word on the side and another word that you've got to match, like, for example, the keyword and its definition. Now, they might give you a whole lot of different keywords, and all the definitions are mixed up. Now you need to match them. So when you're studying this, the best way is to use flashcards. Flashcards are very helpful. There's a lot of free apps out there that can help you create, these flashcards. So do that. Parents, I had this question at one of the live workshops. Parent told me, you talking grade 7 stuff. I don't even know grade 5 work, and I'm supposed to test my child. What do I do? So this is a big one. You don't need to know the subject. You don't need to know any of the content. Take out your phone, take a picture of what they learned, and just in your ChatGPT or Gemini, tell it, right, give me 5 multiple choice question, 5 fill in the blanks, 5 matching. It'll do that for you. So you don't need to know maths and science and all of the subjects. You can help AI do that for you. Let's move on to the next type of question. And that is basically where we come to fill in the blanks. This is Somebody asked me also, short answer questions, fill in the blanks, isn't it the same? It's not the same. A short answer question can sometimes be up to a sentence, right? A full-on sentence. Fill in the blank is generally one word or a phrase, okay? And you just got to fill in the missing words. So it's not the same thing. Now, how do you study for filling the blanks? Well, the basic two things that I like to advise everybody is to do a lot of reviewing of key points, keywords, key concepts, definitions. Master that, and you can use flashcards again. It must give you the definition on one side and the keyword on the other side. So you look at the keyword, and now you can give off the definition, or you read the definition, and now you say, what was the keyword, or what was the concept, or what was the key point, and you fill that in. Also, take your study guide or your papers that you're using to practice, and make copies of it and just blank out 4 or 5 words in the sentence. Any words, different places, that actually will give you a little bit more confidence as well. And another big tip for filling the blanks, look for grammar, right? If you saw the word an before the blank, now you know the next word starts with a vowel. So look at the grammar. It'll help you. The grammar can sometimes help you. There might be a comma there. There might be a... So the grammar in the structure of the sentence will help you to be able to answer a fill in the blank. Okay. Here also, a lot of students, they don't read the question carefully. Yeah. Now, sometimes they may have changed a word or two. So ensure that you've read the entire question properly where there's a fill in the blank. And if you don't know and you're unsure, you just have to guess. Now, going back to multiple choice questions, I used a lot of AI and some of my own research that if in a multiple choice question, you didn't know the answer, all right, if you were to guess, you should guess either B or C, because B is 40% of the time. Most teachers and educators in South Africa have that as the answer, and C 30% of the time. So if you are to guess, statistically, you got a 70% chance of getting it correct by guessing either B or C in multiple choice questions. Okay. Another type of question is basically your labeling question, right? Or a diagram question, where you're going to have to fill in parts of the diagram. Now here, you want to learn your diagrams. Now I suggest all you students, because it's already in exams, you use your device to take pictures of all the diagrams that you might, possibly look at past papers and see which diagrams I need to label. And you keep looking at that picture. The more you look at it, your eyes...
looks like we need more time. We're definitely going to try to get you on another show before exams are over. Parting words to our learners, anyone who's writing exams at the moment.
You got this. Just give it your best, and you got this. There's support around you. There's always somebody to be there to talk to you or to listen to you. And, you got this. Just go there and do your best.
Well, Jazakallah for linking up with us. And I know everybody is going to do what you said. That was Brother Junaid Bayat, who was linking up with us. I'd like to thank our tech Zach for making this show possible. My email address is sumayakhan.alansar@outlook.com. Don't give up when dark times come. The more storms you face in life, the stronger you'll be. Hold on, your greater is coming. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Never give up on something that you can't go a day without thinking about. Assalamu alaikum.
Teaching you something new every day. Radio Al-Ansar.
This hadith is sponsored by Ashraful Aid, International Humanitarian Organization.
Hadith Adi. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الكيس من دان نفسه وعمل لما بعد الموت والعاجز من أتبع نفسه هواها وتمنى على الله. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the intelligent one is he who has subdued his desires and he who has worked for what comes after death and the foolish one is he who follows his desires and has vain hopes about Allah.
This hadith is sponsored by Ashraful Aid, International Humanitarian Organization.
Are you